He just privated it live!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's official, I've officially run out of slop. I say that, but there is a little bit of Sidemen drama, and there's a little bit of Mr. Beast drama, but I will not be covering any more of the Mr. Beast drama, as it involves AI, and you're not going to make me cover another situation that involves AI for at least another month. So you are probably thinking, Samuel, if that is the case, what will you be covering in today's video? Well, in today's video, I'm actually turning to my friends for some drama they've recently been involved in, or a situation, should I say, that they've been involved in regards to Call Me Carson. Recently, an associate of mine, Spinlicking Kids, released a video titled What Happened to Call Me Carson, where he goes over Call Me Carson's YouTube history, the controversies and situations that he's been in.
Call Me Carson is a person that you haven't likely heard about in a long time. His name isn't thought about much these days, with it fading into irrelevance. But if we were to go back a few years, you would see glimpses of his work all over the internet. Carson was everywhere at one time. He was in memes, viral clips, and his own YouTube videos that gained attention online. At the height of his career, Carson was a key figure on YouTube. Everything he touched turned to success in a short time. His influence launched the careers of other channels simply by just working with him. Carson amassed what some would have called a cult status.
If you are interested in Call Me Carson's YouTube history as controversies, I highly recommend that you go and watch that video by Spinnling. However, if that was just the case, if it was just that one of my YouTube friends had dropped a video on Call Me Carson, I would not be making this video, as everyone knows the story of Call Me Carson by now. I'm not going to sit here and repeat something that a documentary channel has just said for 8 minutes. You probably are wondering to yourself, Samuel, why are you covering this topic if you're no interest in actually going over the essay video in question? Well, it's actually because something happened after this video dropped. A weekend friend of the channel and somebody who helped with the Call Me Carson video, Dead Meme Frog, actually decided to stream a live reaction to the video when it came out on his YouTube channel. Whilst Meme Frog was actually on live, Call Me Carson actually was in the chat and decided to start typing to Meme Frog and Spinnling. That's exactly why I'm covering this on this channel, because I found the interactions that he had on the live stream to be incredibly interesting, especially as well because this live stream wasn't a live stream that had hundreds of viewers. When he got into the live stream chat, Carson was just originally talking about the SMP that Meme Frog was playing. Look, if Carson just said that in the chat and nothing else, I would not be milking this for slop, even if I am desperate to be making slop content. I don't think anybody would be milking that whatsoever. And Call Me Carson followed up this with a pretty interesting question for Spinnling and Meme Frog. Questions for both you and Spinnling. I'm genuinely curious, and I ask this with respect to your time and effort, why do you and Spinnling make these videos about me? To be fair, I think it's a pretty interesting question, especially coming from somebody like Call Me Carson, somebody who's had hundreds of videos made on him over the past few years of his controversies, just his channel, and lots of essay videos and documentaries just like Spinnling's. And ultimately, the answer to that question is, not only does it get views, but as well, his channel and his history on YouTube is an incredibly interesting one. All the situations and controversies he's been in, the rise and fall and resurgence of Call Me Carson is an incredibly interesting story to tell. The views, like I said, mainly the views. I do find this question incredibly interesting coming from somebody like Call Me Carson, somebody who has been in so much controversy, somebody who has been in those situations, and somebody who has been a focal point of lots of commentary video essays, just like Spinnling. Call Me Carson then followed up by saying, I'm not really concerned about you bringing drama my way, it exists anyways. I'm more so asking because if I'm being honest, there's 20 carbon copy videos with the same information that never talk about anything new. I'm curious why that is. When it comes to commentary and YouTube in general, people will make videos on similar topics or the same topics. Take the most recent iDubbbz controversy for example. When that came out, every single commentary YouTuber, slop tuber, reaction tuber, probably your own mom made a video on iDubbbz talking about it because that was the big drama and controversy at the time. It was the most interesting thing to talk about and the thing that was going to get channels like that views. That's just something that happens. Everybody has their own thoughts and opinions that they want to share, and it's very similar to Carson. Carson used to be an incredibly popular content creator with a huge controversy people are interested in. There's an audience there for that type of content, and loads of people are interested in watching videos that go over his history on the platform. Just like any topics in commentary, yeah, you probably are going to get hundreds of content creators covering that topic, making the same videos with the same information, with their opinions, or maybe not even their opinions, just telling you the information. That's going to happen, and everyone has that right to do so. And that's probably what Spinnling and Meme Frog thought. They were probably interested in the topic and wanted to compile that, so they did. Again, the most interesting aspect of this is the fact that this is coming directly from Call Me Carson in a random YouTube live chat. He's genuinely asking these questions to people that have made a big essay video on him talking about his YouTube history and his controversies. I do think this is pretty damn interesting, especially from Call Me Carson. Spinnling follows it up by saying, I hope I wasn't disrespectful in my video at all. I tried to cover everything I grew up with. I remember watching Solitaire Confinement and such such, I obviously became a fan after it ended, but I watched regardless. Carson then responded by saying, well, part of why I'm asking is I think by nature of covering the stuff everyone already knows, it becomes a little less interesting perhaps. And I do have to say, I do agree with CallMeCarson here. If hundreds of people make a video on the exact same topic going over the exact same stuff, it does get a little bit less interesting for the general audience. Of course, you want to try and spice it up if you do genuinely care about that, or you just want to make a video covering the same old stuff, and that is completely fine. That is within your right to do so, and there will be an audience there that genuinely care for that still. And then responded by saying, I get that totally, followed up by CallMeCarson saying, there's a part of me that thinks if you covered where I actually am now, it would be more interesting and get more views. I'm in two minds about this, and I have to kind of disagree with Carson here, because whilst I do think it would spice up an essay video covering CallMeCarson's history and would be an interesting new thing to be doing in that type of content, I don't necessarily think it would get more views. I think it would get the same amount of views unless you make a video titled something like, where is CallMeCarson now? But I do agree that I think adding something about CallMeCarson's current day, what he's been doing in current day, the content that he's been making, would be an interesting addition onto a video like that, and would help also pad the video out even further. Now as well, not only was CallMeCarson interacting in the chat when this was going on, but Carson actually decided to mess with MemeFrog and Spinnling a little bit whilst they were live. Well, MemeFrog was actually watching a CallMeCarson video, and while he was live watching that video, Carson actually decided to private that video whilst MemeFrog was watching it live.
Play the outro. Right, in a bit, boys. Bye.
What's going on here?
Oh, what the fuck happened?
Interesting commentary, or should I say lack of commentary from MemeFrog during that clip, but I do think it's incredibly funny that CallMeCarson was like, fuck it, let me private this video while this guy is watching this video on stream. I want to cover this because whilst many people probably will comment saying nothing burger, this is a nothing burger situation, I do find it quite interesting that CallMeCarson was in the chat asking questions about video essays and about people making video essays on him. I do think that's incredibly interesting, and I also think it's just pretty funny that then he decided to mess with MemeFrog and Spinnling whilst they were live. I do think it's just a bit more of a relaxed situation as well to cover after the months of pretty serious allegations and other stuff going on.
What the fuck? Did your channel get taken down? What?
He just privated it live. He just
What?
fucking privated it.
There's no way.
He just privated the huge drama video. Are you kidding?
That's fucking hilarious.
I'm gonna say, no offense to MemeFrog, I do think something that makes this increasingly more funny is the fact that this stream had single digits in terms of viewers. This stream didn't have hundreds of viewers, this had like 7, 8, 9 viewers, and CallMeCarson is just randomly chilling there. We also actually have Spinnling and MemeFrog's reaction to CallMeCarson typing in the chat.
What the fuck? Look in the chat.
Oh my fucking god.
Carson, I hope you enjoyed the video, dude.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was the insane, crazy, maddening CallMeCarson situation. I just simply wanted to make a video on this. There's really not much going on at the moment. I'm not really grabbed by any of the Hassan drama currently going on. Really could not care less about that. I don't really care for any more of the MrBeast AI stuff for right now. So I just thought this would be a nice, relaxed video to just get out there, because I do think him being in this chat and messing around with MemeFrog and Spinnling is pretty funny. Everybody watching, what's your thoughts on this? Please feel free to comment down below, and watch it down there. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future slop. Like I said towards the beginning of the video, I highly recommend that you go and check out Spinnling's video going over CallMeCarson. It's a good watch, trust me, so go and watch that video now you've watched this video, but I appreciate you tuning in today's video. I've been your host Samuel, and I will catch you in the next slop video. Goodbye.